Hey basketball guys, we have news. Let's go to more Los Angeles Lakers news, but first don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. Can Kevin Durant help the Lakers win their 18th title? Yes, if the Lakers want to win now, it will be worth investing heavily in Kevin Durant as the third star. The Los Angeles Lakers and Phoenix Suns are unlikely to become trade partners this summer. The Lakers need a center, and the Suns' aging superstar, Kevin Durant, has been involved in trade rumors with franchises like the San Antonio Spurs and New York Knicks. Still, Sports Illustrated's Rohan Roman is optimistic that Durant could land with the Lakers in a massive three-team blockbuster trade. There's no question that a starting lineup of Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves, LeBron James, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Kevin Durant should finish the year as one of the 5 best offenses in basketball, Roman wrote Sunday. 4 of those players are capable of generating their own offense, and all of them are good passers as well. Although Durant isn't a true center, he's almost 7 feet tall and can go up against centers at times should the situation call for it. Despite his age, he hasn't declined much as a scorer. Last season, KD averaged 26.6 points, 6.0 rebounds, and 4.2 assists on 52.7/43/83.9 shooting splits. He is going to be 37 years old by the time next season starts, but it is clear to see how he could open the floor up even more for Luka and LeBron to operate due to the respect he demands as a shooter. Roman's trade proposal sends Royce O'Neal and a 2026 second-round pick to the Atlanta Hawks, Rui Hachimura, Jared Vanderbilt, Gabe Vincent, Maxi Kleber, and a 2031 first-round pick to the Suns, and Durant and Ryan Dunn to the Lakers. Durant is a future Hall of Fame 6'11" forward. In addition to winning 2 NBA championships and 2 NBA Finals MVP awards, the pure bucket-getter received 15 All-Star nods and scored over 30,000 points. Still, it doesn't change the fact that Durant's tenure with the Suns has been a miserable one. The former Oklahoma City Thunder superstar has failed to guide the Suns to a Western Conference Finals appearance since joining the franchise in 2023, which is likely to lead to an ugly split in free agency. A trade to the Lakers could help Durant end his illustrious career on a positive note. Los Angeles's big man issue wouldn't disappear with the acquisition of Durant. However, there's a strong possibility that the organization could hide that weakness if their 4 stars, Durant, Reeves, Doncic, and James, hypothetically perform at an exceptionally high level. Keep an eye out for a potential off-season trade involving Durant, the Lakers, and the Suns. Lakers insider says Dalton Knecht is at best an 8th man for Los Angeles next season. Los Angeles Lakers forward Dalton Knecht's rookie year was similar to the experiences of many first-year NBA players in the sense that it was quite up and down. In the 2024-25 regular season, he proved to be a solid rotational piece for Los Angeles and turned heads with his ability to score the rock from three-point range, as he shot 37.6% from 3 on 4.4 attempts per game. Although, when the 2025 NBA playoffs rolled around, Knecht was a non-factor for the Lakers. He played in only 2 of Los Angeles's 5 games during its first-round matchup versus the Minnesota Timberwolves and scored just 5 points the whole series. With the small role Knecht just recently played for the Lakers in the playoffs, Lakers insider Jovan Buha doesn't foresee Knecht being more than an 8th man for the storied franchise in the 2025-26 campaign. Basically, it comes down to the Lakers only have so many assets to trade, and Dalton Knecht I think at best next season is an 8th man and probably is an 8th, 9th man, Buha said. And when thinking about the Lakers trying to get a starting center or a starting wing, you need to give something up to get that player. The Lakers used the number 17 overall pick in the 2024 NBA draft on Knecht, and he was easily Los Angeles's most productive rookie, even if he didn't get the media attention that guard Bronny James did. Los Angeles's decision to draft James with the number 55 overall pick was notable because of who his father is, but he ultimately suited up in just 27 of the Lakers' 82 regular season contests. Interestingly enough, the Lakers agreed to trade Knecht and other assets to the Charlotte Hornets for big man Mark Williams before the February trade deadline, but the Lakers later put the kibosh on the move after Williams failed his physical. Los Angeles has already almost traded Connect away for a center, and the team should finally pull the trigger on moving him for an upgrade at the big man spot this offseason. One highly talented big man who would make sense for the Lakers to take a flyer on is Boston Celtics star Kristaps Porzingis. Porzingis' trade value might be at an all-time low after how he fared in Boston's second-round series against the New York Knicks, but he's also proven to be one of the more talented big men in the league when at full strength. Luka Doncic's actions during Lakers offseason turns heads on Tuesday. The Los Angeles Lakers formed one of the best duos in NBA history last season, pairing LeBron James and Luka Doncic. Doncic was traded to the Lakers ahead of the trade deadline in a deal that sent Anthony Davis to the Dallas Mavericks. James and Doncic found success together late in the season, entering the playoffs as the number 3 seed in the Western Conference. While they certainly had NBA title hopes after completing one of the biggest splash trades in deadline history, the Lakers were eliminated in the first round of the postseason, losing to the Minnesota Timberwolves. During the offseason, players had a chance to step away from the court and take some time away from basketball to regroup. Doncic may have taken some time off, but on Tuesday, he took to social media, showing millions of fans online that he's back in the lab. The Los Angeles Star posted a video of himself training in Lakers gear. Upon the release of the post, several NBA fan accounts took to social media to share the video, prompting some fans to comment their thoughts on Luka Doncic's workout. "Not a full squat was done that day," said one fan. "There were 0 squats done this whole video," said another fan. "Remember when people called him fat," mentioned one fan. "Ben Simmons shooting workout," commented one fan. "Yeah, he getting MVP next year," said one fan. "Weight watching is insane," said another fan. Los Angeles Lakers guard Luka Doncic's 77 conditioning was reportedly a reason for getting traded. Copyright Jerome Myronamain Images. Last season, Luka Doncic posted 28.2 points, 8.2 rebounds, and 7.7 assists per game. He had yet another incredible season in terms of offensive production, but conditioning and defensive ability continue to be in question for the Lakers star. Lakers' most realistic center options ranked. The Los Angeles Lakers are searching for a center to add to the roster this summer. It was clearly the weakest part of their roster last year, which is part of the reason why they tried to trade for Mark Williams. They decided to fail that trade because of Williams' physical. He is a young center who has a lot of potential. He has the exact kind of skill set that the Lakers want in a center. While they won't be getting Williams, there are some other centers who are more realistic that they can grab. 1. Nick Claxton. Claxton should be the Lakers' top target as a starting center. They would have to trade for him, but they are going to have to trade for most centers that are any good. Claxton is the perfect combination for what the Lakers are looking for. He's young, a premier shot blocker, and one of the best rebounders in the entire league. Adding Claxton would take some of the expiring contracts that Los Angeles has. Sending Rui Hachimura and Gabe Vincent to Brooklyn would have to happen in order for this to happen. 2. Brook Lopez. One of the few centers that the Lakers might be able to sign outright in free agency, Lopez gives the Lakers a different kind of center. He is someone who can hit threes and protect the rim. Lopez is more of a win-now center because of his age. He is 37 years old and clearly isn't going to be getting any better. He is more on LeBron James' timeline than Doncic's. 3. Clint Capella. Clint Capella sits in the middle of Claxton and Lopez in terms of his age and skills. He is someone who is a pretty good shot blocker and is excellent at catching lobs. Capella is going to be a free agent as well, but acquiring him might come down to executing a sign-and trade. He will command too much money for the Lakers to sign him outright, especially in a weak free agency class. The Lakers would be in a much better spot if they were able to acquire any of these centers this summer. Jackson Hayes says he's open to return to Lakers in offseason. While his season ended on a low note, Jackson Hayes implied on social media that he would be open to returning to the Lakers this offseason. It was quite the season for Jackson Hayes in purple and gold. After a pretty rocky first year in Los Angeles, Hayes went from backup big man to Anthony Davis to starting center alongside Luka Doncic. And while he, at times, excelled in that role as a lob-catching threat, when push came to shove, Hayes was benched in the playoffs when the Lakers had no other center option. It was a pretty damning indictment on how head coach J.J. Redick viewed his spot on the roster. And while, to most, that felt like a pretty clear signal that he wouldn't be back on the team next season, Hayes himself appears not ready to close that door. Over on Instagram, Hayes pushed back against the notion that he wants to leave Los Angeles. Even if he's open to a return, it is incredibly unlikely Hayes is back next season. Redick clearly has no trust in Hayes in meaningful games and would rather play no center than him. Another season of Hayes almost certainly isn't going to change his mind. Hayes has been the same player for much of his career and particularly his time in LA. The second half of this season was only different because of the personnel around him. Luka was the perfect time of point guard to complement his offensive skill set. Still, though, he couldn't hang defensively, and that proved to be the deciding factor at the end of the day. Warriors NBA champion emerges as potential Lakers target. The Los Angeles Lakers improved their backcourt for the foreseeable future when they acquired five-time first-team All-NBA honoree Luka Doncic from the Dallas Mavericks for star big man Anthony Davis in February. However, the deal compromised the front court, which they learned the hard way in the playoffs. Starting center Jackson Hayes got played off the floor in their first-round series versus the Minnesota Timberwolves, as he logged just 4 minutes in Game 4 and didn't appear in Game 5. The 7-footer tallied just 7 points against 8 fouls in the series, which Los Angeles lost in 5 games. Hayes' struggles forced the Lakers to start the 6'7" Dorian Finney-Smith at center, which helped Timberwolves big man Rudy Gobert record 27 points, 12 to 15 FG, with 24 rebounds in Game 5. The 32-year-old only scored in double digits 2 other times across Minnesota's Western Conference Finals run. Los Angeles is looking to upgrade the position through the free agent and/or trade markets, and a 3-time NBA champion is among its targets, via Clutch Points Anthony Irwin. Lakers could also target Kevin Looney using their taxpayer mid-level exception, but if he was going to accept that contract, he'd likely get it from the Golden State Warriors, sources say, he reported. Al Horford had a really good season given his age, and the Boston Celtics are going to be looking to shed salary, so he could also be an option if the Lakers want to double the number of 40-plus-year-olds on the roster. Irwin also mentioned Clint Capella and Steven Adams as free agent options. Looney has spent each season with the Warriors since debuting in 2015-16. The 6'9", 222-pounder averaged 4.5 points on 51.4% shooting with 6.1 rebounds across 15 minutes this season. Looney's 3-year, $22.5 million deal with Golden State expired this summer. Robert Horry critical of Luka Doncic's defense. Los Angeles Lakers star Luka Doncic is one of the premier offensive talents in the NBA, a top 5 player by almost every metric considering his impact on that side of the floor. With an array of moves at his disposal, Doncic can score at every level on the floor, and he recently explained why it's easier to score in the NBA than in Europe. While Doncic is a maestro on the offensive end, his defense leaves much to be desired. He has been dinged on his defensive efforts for years, and former Laker Robert Horry expressed his desire to see more from Doncic on that side of the floor, via the Dan Patrick Show. It's so weird that people talk about his weight, but yet he's still giving people 30 points. I tell people, I don't care about his weight. You need to get him in a gym and teach him how to play defense. You know, that's the thing, because you can give someone 40 points, but if you're giving up 35 on the other end, those 40 points don't mean anything. Because it's about wanting to. You know, he's never had to because he's always had people behind him to erase his mistakes. You think about now, there was no AD, no center. Nobody erased his mistakes in LA. He getting blown by, you know, they're getting layups. You know, if you watch stretches of games where Luka just stayed in front, because he's a big body, the offensive players are bouncing off him. You just stay in front. And I think that is the key. And I think also he needs to want to play defense, because so many times he saves his energy for the offensive end. I tell people all the time, if you can move your feet and get past and blow by people, that means you have some fast twitch muscles. You can move pretty fast. So there's no reason you cannot play better defense on the other. You just got to want to. And I think a lot of times he doesn't want to. He'd rather just point. The Dallas Mavericks traded Doncic to Los Angeles partly because of their concerns over his defense, and while it's a valid concern, it shouldn't take away from what he can do. At this point, Doncic has to know his defense will continue to be criticized until he proves his doubters wrong, so it'll be interesting to see how he responds during the 2025-26 season. Draymond Green thought Warriors were getting Kevin Durant when Luka Doncic trade news broke. The Luka Doncic trade remains the most shocking deal in NBA history, though the Golden State Warriors apparently got close to reacquiring Kevin Durant at the trade deadline. The Durant deal was reportedly close enough that Draymond Green thought it went through when the Doncic news broke. LeBron James doesn't think NBA Finals being small-market teams should matter. LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers were sent home in the first round of the NBA playoffs, falling to the Minnesota Timberwolves in 5 games. The Timberwolves went on to lose in the Western Conference Finals to the Oklahoma City Thunder, the team that has been the most dominant in the league all season long. On the other side of the bracket, the Indiana Pacers have had one of the craziest runs to the NBA Finals in league history, completing 4 15-point comebacks in the first 3 rounds and winning 3 games when trailing by 7 or more in the final minute. But the Thunder-Pacers finals, lacking in big market appeal or significant star power, became a topic of discussion prior to the start of the series. James, a player who has been in a major market for half of his career and turned Cleveland into a big market by himself, still holds huge appreciation for the Pacers and the Thunder. He explained on the latest episode of Mind the Game why he isn't bothered by a small market NBA Finals. "I don't know where it comes from. Listen, I played in Cleveland for 11 years and we were a small market. I just think it's all about the storylines. It's about what people can say on TV and create these Superman vs. Batman or DC Comics vs. Marvel. When it comes to the game of basketball, it doesn't matter who's representing who, it's about 2 great teams. We talked previously in a lot of our episodes, we praise a lot of individuals and rightfully so. We have unbelievable individuals in our sport over the years who have done great things and have put themselves in a position to be talked about. But one thing we cannot disrespect is great teams. We can't disrespect the 2003 Detroit Pistons with Chauncey, Rip, Tayshaun, Ben, Rashid, rest of that group. These are teams that are completely put together. You can disrespect the 2019 Toronto Raptors with Fred VanVleet, Kawhi, Pascal. That's a great team. You look at that roster like that's a great team. So we have this Indiana OKC situation, and these are 2 great teams. And if you're a basketball fan and you really love our game, you can learn so much from watching the way both of those teams play. Yes, you have your favorite players or favorite colors, and there's something to that. But if we're just talking about the purity of the game and the sport, these are 2 teams that play the game the right way. And you love to see it. And even after that, they earned it. They've been through the trenches, and injuries happen and things of that nature, but at the end of the day you've still gotta show up and play the game. The game is won in between the 4 lines. If someone's injured, you can't just forfeit because you have your players. You still have to play the game. Indiana's been playing great basketball, and OKC has been doing this all year. And I think it'll be a great finals to watch. I love the game, so I'll be in attendance. While the NBA would certainly be happy if James and the Lakers were in the NBA Finals, there is so much to love about the 2 teams currently playing, like LeBron says. They are both well-built teams with deep benches, fun role players and a star at the top of the chain. Both teams play defense, the Thunder at a historic level, and can go on scoring flurries that make the game fun to watch. The dramatics of Game 1 showed just how exciting this series could be. And while it may not be great for ratings, it's great for basketball, James argues, for the Thunder and Pacers to be where they are. LeBron James calls bubble purest form of hoops. The 2019-20 Lakers were a special group as they overcame a ton of adversity to win the NBA championship. The Lakers finished that tumultuous season in the Orlando bubble and came back with the championship, which was the fourth in LeBron James' illustrious career. Since the Lakers won that title, a lot of people have tried to downplay it. The circumstances were certainly unique, playing in the Orlando bubble with no fans in attendance, but that doesn't make it any less of a championship. The circumstances were the equal for everyone and one team ultimately came out of top. James discussed the bubble on the latest episode of Mind the Game podcast with Steve Nash and stressed that it was pure hoops.